Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Naidalyn. Today we are going to be talking about 5 things that I wish that I knew before starting my fitness journey, and these are just things that are specific to me and my fitness journey, but also some things that you should also keep in mind when starting yours. And we did a little chit chat, get ready with me moment, real calm little simple beats. So if you're interested in hearing what I have to say and want to get ready with me, then just keep on watching. So for concealer, before I jump in, I'm going to be using the E.L.F hydrating camo concealer. I have the shade tan latte and then deep olive. So yeah, also if you see me looking over on this side, is because that's where my mirror is. First thing that I wish I knew before starting my fitness journey is that all the videos in the world will not make you an expert. I say that because before starting my journey, obviously I really wanted to educate myself and learn about different moves and exercises and see other people's routines and all of that stuff, so that way before I actually started it, I would have an idea of okay, this is how I do this is how I do that, just having that background knowledge, right? And when I tell you, I would literally spend all of my time watching fitness videos, all of my time. And because of that, I felt very confident in my abilities, and I felt very confident before going into the gym because I felt like I knew what I was doing, which is perfectly fine. That's something that I highly recommend you do before actually stepping foot into the gym, because it does give you a level of confidence, so that way you're not just walking around and being how do I do this, how do I do that, so it definitely helps. However, because of that, I kind of felt like there wasn't really much room for me to have errors. But the thing that I had to learn is that you can watch as many videos as you want, but you won't know for sure how well you're able to execute something until you actually start doing it. For example, Bulgarian split squats, right? One of those things that it takes practice to do. But because I was watching so many videos on it, I was like, oh, I know how to do it. I ended up doing it, and this is what my Bulgarian split squat used to look like.
Bitch what? Bitch what?
Versus now, where there's a real big difference, clearly it's something that I had to do multiple times in order to get used to. Yeah, just because you watch a whole bunch of videos, and it's not mean you're gonna just go into it being an expert. Yeah, you might be aware of certain cues. Ultimately, your body still has to get used to actually doing those movements. All right, so second thing that I wish I knew is that your gains can leave faster than they took to arrive. So let me tell y'all a little story time, right? This whole thing is gonna be a story time pretty much, but something that I really wanted to focus on was my arms, right? I tend to carry a little bit more fat on my arms, just a genetic thing, whatever. So when I first started out with my fitness journey, I was really putting in work when it came to my arms, saw the results. I was good, even with my abs, and I was feeling good. I was can't nobody tell me nothing. I was feeling good, right? So because of that, I ended up going through phases where I'm I don't need to work on my arms and my abs today because they're good. I can afford to miss a day of just not working it out. And it happened another day where I'm yeah, I really don't need to work this out. And it just kept repeating itself to the point where it was over time, obviously they started going away, and I saw the loss in definition very quickly because I stopped focusing on my upper body as much. And it's so easy to get real confident about the gains and the progress that you're making, right? As soon as you start seeing results, it's ooh, all right, yeah, I'm good. But the thing with your results is that you have to keep working in order to maintain it. And that's something that I didn't really fully comprehend. In my head, I was I worked hard to get this, it's gonna last, it's fine. But it's no, yeah, you can afford to take a day or two off from it, but it creates a habit of, I don't need to do it this week, I don't need to do it the next week, and so on. And then you start losing some of the progress that you've made, because obviously you're not focusing on those muscles anymore. So it's so easy to get rid of your gains. And I think a lot of people also forget that you can work really, really hard to achieve a certain physique, right? But the work doesn't stop there. Once you achieve those results, you have to keep working in order to maintain it. So that's why you see a lot of people where it's like, oh, I'm now in the maintaining phase, because they're happy with their body and they're happy with the results that they have, and so they're not necessarily trying to gain or lose anything. Now they're just in the maintaining phase, and that I didn't really comprehend. And I feel like a lot of people just don't really realize that, like, the work never stops. All right, so my next one, I have a lot to say about this one. The third thing that I wish I knew before starting my fitness journey is that not everyone is going to approve of your lifestyle changes. Now, this goes both ways. Whether you are trying to gain weight or lose weight, not everyone is going to see why you're trying to do that. You know, there's people who are always going to be like, you look fine, like, why are you trying to do that? Like, you look good. Or people who are like, ew, so now, like, you don't eat McDonald's and stuff anymore, like, you don't eat this anymore, like, oh, okay, like,
Miss Healthy over here.
and it's like, why? Like, first of all, when it comes to people commenting and being like, oh, why, like, you look fine just the way you are, you know, that might be true. However, you shouldn't just comment on somebody's decision to, like, gain weight or lose weight, because obviously if they're trying to do either or, it's because they're not feeling their best. So it shouldn't be a thing of, oh my god, you're doing that, like, no, you look fine. Where, you know, yeah, they might mean well, but at the end of the day, you don't know how somebody is viewing themselves. So I would receive comments because I wanted to gain weight, and I feel like that's not necessarily the most common route that people tend to take when starting, like, their fitness journey. You know, a lot of people tend to, like, want to lose weight or whatever. So when people hear you say, yeah, I'm trying to gain weight, they're like, what? You're trying to get bigger? And they're like, it's just mind-boggling to them. And I think it's also a thing where people tend to think that just because you want to gain weight, that you're gonna do it in this, like, unhealthy way and just eat nothing but junk and just not go to the gym. You know, like, people forget that there's healthy ways to gain weight. When I was slim, people would look at me and I would, like, tell them, like, yeah, you know, like, trying to put on, like, the weight or whatever, and they're like, what? You look so good and this and that. And it's like, thank you, but I don't feel good, you know, especially because I knew that I was very skinny because I was having poor habits. So that's something that would, like, kind of bother me, because it's like, yeah, you think I look good, but I'm barely eating, I am not working out, I don't feel confident in my clothing, you know. So it's like, you're praising me for my poor habits, and obviously not everybody is aware of, like, what's going on behind the scenes. So I get it. If you're trying to lose weight, there's always going to be somebody there where it's like, but you look fine, you know. And it's like, same way I didn't feel confident, that might be the same case for somebody else, where they're like, I don't like how my clothes fit, you know, I don't like the way that I feel physically, you know. Like, there's always a reason for somebody trying to make better lifestyle changes and choices. The sad truth is that, like, not everybody's going to really understand that, and you might have people who judge you for it, you know, which is really sucky, because it's like,
how you gonna judge me for wanting to feel better about myself?
like, how, you know. But when it comes to lifestyle changes, it also requires a certain level of discipline and dedication, you know, and that's just not something that a lot of people have or are willing to work on, you know. So if somebody is out here going to sleep at 9 p.m. so that way they could wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. or whatever the case may be, so that way they can make sure they're getting all their calories in, so that way they have time to go to the gym, somebody might look at that and be like, you bugging. Like, you really out here waking up early because there's somebody who likes to sleep in, you know, they don't want to make healthier alternatives to certain foods that they eat, you know, they're very comfortable with their lifestyle. So they might look at yours and be like, you wildin'. I didn't even tell you what powder I was using. I just used the Mercier translucent powder. Bronze a little bit just to add a little bit of color. Fourth thing that I wish I knew is that plateaus are normal. Our bodies get very used to, like, certain routines. So when it comes to, like, fitness, having a set routine is how you're really going to see results. You know, it's not really the best thing to, like, have a different workout routine every single day, something new every week. Like, no, because you're not really going to see results that way. So it's important to stick to a routine, right? However, there's going to come a point where you might experience a plateau. So when I say plateau, it's not just your body's not responding to those exercises anymore and you're not seeing results, but it can also mean this routine is boring and I don't want to do it anymore. Just reaching that like plateau, because I've been there and I will feel really guilty about it, because I'm just like, why? Like, does that mean I just don't like working out anymore? Does that mean like I should just stop with my fitness journey? And that's not the case. It's just I was ready for something new. This is just in life. If you're really doing the same exact thing every other day, every week, there's gonna come a point where you're just like, can we switch things up? It's human nature. Like, that's literally just what's gonna happen, right? So it isn't something that you should fault yourself for or be like, damn, am I doing something wrong? You know, like, it's normal. Like, you might not necessarily see results from doing the same routine so long because your body is ready for change. You know, that could mean that now you need to go up in weight or go up in reps, you know, or just switch it up a little bit, do a different variation, you know. So if you're used to doing standard squats, try doing goblet squats. Switch it up a little bit so that way, yeah, you're still targeting the same muscle, but now you're doing a different exercise and it's fun and it's a little bit more challenging. So you're like, yeah, let me push through, it motivates you a little bit more, you know. Okay, now I'm gonna put a little bit of blush for some color, you know. I don't know what shade I should go in with. This is how the palette looks. The fifth thing that I wish I knew, breaks will not set you back. All right, so I was extremely dedicated when it came to like my fitness journey, which is great. That's how you should be, right? But I was a little bit too dedicated in the sense where, like, if say you had something to do one day and it just took up a lot more of my time than I was expecting, and now I don't have time to work out because I'm just tired, I would get so mad at myself and I'll just be like, in my head it was a kind of like a subconscious thought of like, you're gonna lose all of your gains. You're gonna wake up tomorrow and everything is gonna be gone. I know that sounds so silly, but that's just how I felt because I was so dedicated that it was like, I felt like I couldn't afford to have any days off, which is a very like unhealthy way of thinking. Like, things happen, you know, it's life. Sometimes things take up way too much more of our time and sometimes we're tired. Like, things just happen. So you shouldn't fault yourself for external factors just coming about. You know, like, some things are just honestly out of our control. You know, like, I didn't choose to not work out for that day. Things just happened. It was a real toxic way of thinking, and I don't want anybody else to like think that when they're, you know, within their fitness journey. And if you miss one day, that's okay. You can literally just pick up the next day, you know, and you can go a little bit harder if that's the case, so that way you feel like you're really making up for the day that you missed, you know. But it doesn't mean like everything is completely gone and, you know, you're falling off track. Like, no. So those were 5 things, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I have one more thing that I wish that I knew. Even though I'm 2 years into my fitness journey, this is something that I'm like really learning right now. And it's just about body dysmorphia. When it comes to like your fitness journey, there's gonna be days where you just don't see the hard work that you've been putting in, right? And then there's gonna be some days where you're like, oh damn, I look good, I be working, right? And that's kind of in the phase where I'm at, where like some days I'm just like, am I doing this for nothing? It can be real difficult just because obviously on the days where you're questioning the progress that you've been making, it's really discouraging. Like, it's really discouraging, and it could kind of make you want to quit while also being like, nah,
We gotta work harder. We gotta make these changes.
the body dysmorphia can get really real sometimes and can get really discouraging because, of course, like when you're working out and all this, like there's a lot that goes into your fitness journey, but most of the time you're really working on the aesthetic of it, you know, and thinking about like how it is that you're looking. Like,
Damn, is the stomach on flat today? Is the booty on fat? Like,
you know, you're looking for these things. There's gonna be certain days where you're like, it's not, and it could be really discouraging, but it doesn't mean that like you're not working hard enough. Yes, we see ourselves every single day, so we notice certain changes, but at the same time we're our own biggest critics. So we love like to nitpick on certain things. I'm speaking on for myself mainly. Like, I know that I can nitpick sometimes on certain things, but I also know that, you know, it's pretty normal human nature. So it can make it really difficult sometimes, because some days I'm like, am I doing this for nothing? Like, should I honestly quit? But I'm not going to, because I know that, like, at the end of the day, I have made progress, you know? And we never see results overnight. Like, if that was the case, maybe. But it's just not, you know? So you have to give things time in order to see certain results. Body mascara just, like, does it for me. Like, look at the difference in these eyes. Like, this one is all awake. This one is, like, still asleep. Yeah, so when it comes to like the body dysmorphia thing, like, don't get so hard on yourself. And also keep in mind that our bodies fluctuate, so don't hold that against yourself. Like, if you're feeling one way on a specific day, keep in mind, like, what did you eat the previous day, you know? Or like, were you drinking enough water? Like, our bodies are just going to be up and down. Also, progress pictures make a very big difference, and they help a lot, because in your head you could really be like, where the gains at, you know? But if you really look at where you are now compared to where you were 3 months ago, then you'll be like, oh, there they are. There, I see the gains now. Finish off with some lip gloss. Last thing, I'm just gonna go in with my lip gloss. This is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Topaz. Love this shade. It's just like, I don't know, I feel like my lips are very pale, so I like the little color. They're very subtle, but I love it. So yeah, that was just it for this video. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, these are just some of the things that I wish that I knew before starting my fitness journey, but also some things that you should also keep in mind. So yeah, also leave me a comment down below and let me know what part of your fitness journey that you're in. So if you're just now starting out, you're, you know, getting some information so that way you can start. If you're like a year in, a few months, like, just let me know like what part of your fitness journey you're in. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, of course. Follow me on all of my socials, they'll be linked down below. Subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.